What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Legendary Founding Titan, and we're back on Smite to talk about the top 10 strongest Juggernauts in the game currently. Now, what do you think about a Juggernaut? Juggernaut would typically be like someone that's tanky, correct? Yes, you're not wrong. It's someone that tanks a lot, but also this Juggernaut system can also be used by how useful you are in a team fight or how just basically how impactful you can be either in your own lane or just in general. So let's get right into it. Now keep in mind, Juggernauts do not have like life steal. I'm not going for builds that can be countered by anti-healing because anti-healing is OP as crap right now. So I'm going over the strongest guys in terms of mitigation, crit resistance, everything. Just keep that in mind when I'm talking about these Juggernauts. And don't be like, oh, Hades should be... No. I'm not going over Hades because he can... Because the thing about Hades is the fact, well, they just nerfed him. His early game got nerfed a bit. And, well, and Hades is just... The only thing that's good about him is his lifesteal mainly. It's just because you can get all your health back from one hit. And I'm not going over lifesteal. It's just lifesteal can be easily countered if people actually use anti-heal. Just so I'm not going over that. So we're going over the mitigation and crit resistance, and let's just get right into it. I'll also show I'll tell the role of each character first, and then I'll show you the stats of every single character individually at the end. Just all at once, basically, just boop 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 boop, and we'll just get right through it all. So except for one character, I will show him myself to you personally, because y'all gotta crap yourself when you see this character. Anyway, number 10 on my list. Also, another thing, number 9 and 8 are two different. Technically, there's 12 characters in this list, but position 9 and 8, they're either like they're kind of similar characters, so I didn't really know how to place them. I wanted to place them on the list, so they're just kind of sharing a spot together in 9 and 8. Just keep that in mind. All right, number 10. Without any further interruptions of myself. Number 10, Nemesis. Support role. I know, it's bad. Support Nemesis is not ideal, really. For the most part, it's not too bad. It's just the main problem is early game. You're gonna be really screwed early game. But if you actually get to late game eventually after having a 30-minute, like 20 minutes of rough time, you will be very tanky and very annoying and just unkillable basically. Because with Nemesis you have 2 dashes, which is really nice. You have a shield that reflects damage, so you can just jump on the ADC's face and just deal damage while just reflecting it with your shield. And you also have a lot of cooldown with this build, so you can spam that shield over and over and over again. You got the defensive relics here to help your team. You got Mantle Discord for the silence. You got just a lot of good stuff here. You got damage mitigation from crowd control for Spirit Robe. You got sovereignty. You're helping the team out. Pretty good. She's just a mere annoyance. But like I said, the early game's really gonna suck. It's really gonna suck. I wouldn't play Nemesis. This is why she's on the bottom tier list, just because it can be good as a Juggernaut, but it's just not ideal because of the fact that she's just gonna have a rough time early game, I think. Especially if she's going up against an Atlas. It's just not gonna be fun. Number 9. So like I said, number 9 it has 2 spots, but we'll go over the first one. And that first one is Kuzmo. Kuzmo has, he has mitigation on his passive. Now, don't get me wrong, Kuzmo is one of the tankiest characters in the game, but the problem with him is that he doesn't act as juggernauty as the other characters because he doesn't do enough damage. He's not that impactful for the team. He's really just there. He just exists, and he doesn't exist like in a good way. He just exists to do nothing. Almost. His ults are not long enough. His crowd control ability is only just to slam someone into a wall, and that's about it. He's not too bad in just the jungle areas, but when it's in the lane area, it just sucks. He's not really that fun. He's not really that useful, I'd say. But he is really strong in durability, and I cannot have a Juggernaut tier list without adding him. So here he is, my boy Kuzmo. Um, with this sharing position, there's also Ymir. Now you're probably thinking, why the heck is Ymir with Kuzmo? Ymir's a lot better. You're not wrong. But for the Juggernaut tier list, Kuzmo is technically tankier. But the thing is, Ymir, the reason why he excels, or it kind of stays with Kuzmo in the Juggernauts area, is because he provides just better CC, where he's not as tanky as Kuzmo, he just provides better CC, better teamfight potential. He has a bit more health, he has a bit more passive health and armor. Um, he does generally more damage. So Ymir technically could be better than Kuzmo, but for the Juggernaut list, I mean Ymir is a lot better than Kuzmo. But for the Juggernaut list, I feel like they kind of share the same position in my opinion. Number 8 will be two warriors, and that first one will be Cuchulainn. Cuchulainn is a high damaging, very tanking god. He just does not die, it seems like. Um, he has a lot of armor with his build. He has a lot of damage with this build because of Glad Shield, converting your damage or converting your protections likely to your damage, and it's really good. It's really good, and there's nothing else to it. He rages every freaking fight because of the minions. He clears out one minion wave, and he's back in rage form. If he ults an entire team in a team fight, he's in rage form, and in rage form he does AoE damage, which is quite punishing if he has Glad Shield. And he has blue. If he did have Bluestone, it would also be even more. But as a Juggernaut, you would want to go for this to help your team out and to be tanky. But yeah, that's Cuchulainn for you. The position sharing with him is also King Arthur. Basically, they both play the same way. Really, they're both really aggressive warriors. They both build the same. They're basically the same character almost. King Arthur, though, is a bit tougher, whereas Cuchulainn can be easily ganked if low or half health in the jungle. King Arthur, even if he's at like a quarter health, is not going down that easily. He has a knockup, he's got a stun, he's got very invasive abilities, he's got really good stuff on his kit. He is extremely tanky just on his just passive stats. And yeah, you could go Soul Reaver on him, but like I said, I wasn't really going for lifesteal too much for many characters, so that's why it's like this. So number 8 is the sharing spot for King Arthur and Cuchulainn. Number 7 is Tyr. So Soul Eater is here on his build, but the main reason why is because I was actually able to get a massive amount of armor with this guy, just passively. He has a lot of armor just passively, and yeah, there's not much to really say about it. Same relics. Now, why do I have these relics over the teleporter if these guys are all solo? Ideally, you do want to go for the teleporting relic, so you don't miss out on waves. But I try to build as much towards the team fight as I can. But yeah, but ideally you do want to go for the teleported glyph. It's because it does help you do rotations better as well. But I typically, for my playstyle, a lot of times I like to just be able to jump in with an ult and then just heal and shell everyone. That's what I kind of like to do. I like to be able to really, like, when I come into a team fight, I don't want to be insanely noticeable real quick. That way the enemy has to divert attention to me. So yeah, that's what I do. And yeah, you may not like it. It's all up to you. Like I said, I would probably prefer to teleport cloak anyway, most of the time. But I do like going with the cloak once in a while. But yeah, the Soul Eater helps his 2 out really nicely, and He's just really strong. It's tier. He has a lot of CC. He is very CC immune. That's the main reason why he's on the Juggernaut list, is because he is CC immunity. Nothing in the entire game can last more than a second on him, which is the best thing ever. You cannot be locked down easy as a tier. You lock others down. You don't get locked down. You lock others down. That's what your job is. He is very impactful in team fights, either on the offensive or defensive. He's powerful. Tyr is just without question one of the best Juggernaut warriors out there. Number 6 is going to be Atlas. Not really surprising. Atlas is just really strong right now. He's very tanky with his health and armor. Not much else to say about him. I mean, you already know most about him. He does a lot of damage with his abilities for a guardian. Even when he's going full tank, he's able to dish out a crap ton of damage. Really good. A really solid Juggernaut. In all honesty, he doesn't really suffer from anything. He's got good mobility. He's got good tanking. He's got good damage. Not anything to complain about. Number 5 is going to be Geb. For the Juggernaut list, I would say Geb is better than Atlas, only because of his passive. Carries are the highest damaging things in the game. They do the highest DPS, they hit the hardest pretty much. What better than a character that has a shield and a passive where it reduces crit? And that's what Geb does. He reduces crit. And if you get cooldown on him, you're shielding your team. You got the relics. You're shelling for your team. You're propping your shield up. You're throwing your 2 out to get the mana core spikes everywhere for people. It's a lot of stuff you're able to do as Geb. I didn't go as tanky as him as I would do for other characters, and it's because Geb is one of the safer supports. His one is just very easy to just get out of any situation just about, so that's why I did that. Because he just has so much in his kit. The next character is going to be number 4, which is going to be Capri. And Capri, of course, you already know, it's Capri. The main reason why he's on number 4, Juggernaut, he's not tankier than Geb. He's not tankier than Tyr. He's not tankier than a Ymir, a Kuzmo, a Nemesis with a shield. Well, maybe that, but he's not tankier than a lot of these characters. Why is he up here? The main reason is, actually the only reason, is because he doesn't need to be tanking himself. He buffs everyone in the entire group. He makes everyone around him tankier. There's nothing better than making your entire team tanky. You go for Sentinel's Embrace, you go Gauntlet, you go for the Mail of Renewal, you go for Sovereignty, Heart Ward, and you go Magi Shelter. And you are just protecting people from CC, you're protecting them from you're giving them a lot of armor, you're giving them healing, you're giving them, if you're pressing your 2 on your one ability, your second ability, you're giving them 30% mitigation, you're giving them a shield by your passive, you have an ultimate that can revive someone. Do I have to say more? You make everyone on the team tankier. Everyone. You got good CC. You are a Juggernaut. Capri is a Juggernaut because he makes everyone a mini tank. He makes everyone a mini tank, and he has an ultimate that gets you out of the worst situation possible. What else do you need? This guy is beautiful. Capri is amazing. Just get saying that right now. Now Fafnir is kind of the opposite of Capri. But the reason why he excels Capri, in my opinion, is because you can see my relics are different. And the reason for this, Fafnir is a very good objective taker in the game. He's able to take objectives with a carry, a mid laner, a jungle very, very efficiently. If you go for Shogun's Currency, you're a Giga Chad level Fafnir, because you have this ability. Increase attack speed by 30%. Increase attack speed with the Shoguns by 30%. You're increasing the person if you are near someone and are putting this ability on them, you are giving them 60% attack speed. That is a lot of attack speed you're giving someone. On top of this, you have, like for my build at least, you have the lifesteal, which will help them not die. You have the build of Berserker, which will give them more attack speed if you activate it and give them more damage. You have the Bracer of Brilliance, which is really good for Fire Giant because you can instantly take it if you activate both of these, and then just A with you just press this button. Fafnir is also one of the tankiest characters. If he has 1,000 gold at hand, he gains 25 magical and physical defense. And it's not something that just stops at 325. No, he goes up to 350. Goes up to 350 armor. Even with this build where I'm going more damaging and stuff, I still reach max armor. It's really good. His dragon form does a lot of damage. It's good peeling for your team. If you're behind, if you need to get caught up to your team, you got a great leap. Yeah, you do a lot. You do a lot for the team as Fafnir. You are a walking juggernaut as well because of the fact that you just initiate so much damage for everyone. Because this ability alone makes you do 20% more. Like, it makes a target that you chose do 20% more damage. On top of that, you're healing yourself, and you're giving them an attack speed buff. And if you're using the relics, you are buffing their damage so much. It is actually ridiculous. Like you're buffing their power, you're buffing their damage. It's insane. Like you're buffing the crap out of them. Which is why I went for those two relics, because for objectives you can just insta clear shit. It's insane. Number 2 is not a guardian, but it is rather Ravana, an assassin. Now you might be thinking, why Ravana? Well, I don't know, actually. So Ravana, well, actually I do know, but like, I was shocked. I thought Ravana wouldn't be as good as I thought, but he is insane. Ravana is excessively tanky. He has a shield equal to 7% of his maximum health. Now, keep in mind, he does have to play solo lane. He can't play support because he doesn't have that much. I mean, he could play support, but I'd prefer you. I prefer you probably just play solo, just because if you do play support, you'll probably. I mean, unless you're just god tier of Ravana, you might just get like everyone will just go, oh my god, support Ravana. You know how people are in this game. But yeah, but you gain a shield, you gain a 30 mitigation with your ult, and plus 10% damage increase. You have a root, and it also does like everything you do does a lot of damage. Gives you movement speed, gives you slow, gives you a shield, gives you mitigation. You have so much in your kit that makes you a tank. A lot of stuff that makes you a tank, which is why. And on top of that, he's an assassin, which means he can have a Lonos Mask. And the Lonos Mask, if you don't know, is tanky as hell when you get this thing max. Which is why I think this build is what I go for. You could go either one of these, Mystical Mail or Glad Shield. It doesn't really matter. I'd probably go Glad Shield just because you would do a lot more damage with it. I just only had Mystical Mail equipped because I like AoE damage more, but it's totally up to you. But yeah, that's my build for Ravana. Yeah. Now let's go on to number 1. The number 1 tankiest character in the game is none other than Achilles. And the main reason why he is the tankiest character in the entire game is simply because of his armor, his passive. His passive allows him to have 325 additional health while also giving him 35 physical armor. This gives him a crap ton of armor, or a heck of an advantage against anyone that doesn't have that passive, which no one does. So this passive for his armor is just insane, giving him a crap ton of protections. So he doesn't have much health in comparison to some of the Guardians. That's not what we're here to do, though. So for this build, you want to play Achilles jungle. You will more than likely struggle to clear stuff, though. However, but you do a lot of damage, and the thing is, well, you do decent damage. You do pretty decent damage. But yeah, look at that. Look at this though. My armor 318 and 325. With the Eye of the Jungle, we go from that to 356 and 364 armor. That's not the best part though. The best part is the fact that we can exceed it even more with this ability. We have now 419 physical and 429 magical. This makes Achilles the best guardian or the best tank juggernaut in the game. Simply put, he is insanely strong. He does a lot of damage. If he's in the jungle, he does a lot of damage. I mean, look at that. You do 200 damage. Not bad. I mean, it's pretty good. And you're just insanely strong. No one's killing you. There's no way anyone's killing you. You have an execute, which makes it even easier. This is why Achilles is the #1 pick in the game. The fact that you can have that much armor is just insane. But without any further ado, I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe you tested some of these builds yourself. If you have, let me know and let me just let me know how it goes for you basically. And if there's anyone that you think deserves to be on the list, leave it in the comments. I like to see any characters and try them out myself. Because I haven't tried every character in the game for tanking and everything yet, so maybe there are some characters I am missing the potential of. Maybe Cambraken, or I mean I've tried Cambraken, but I'm just saying, for example, just let me know. There's any character that you think deserves a spotlight for tanking. Alright guys, that's all I got for this video. This is the Legendary Fire Titan signing off. Peace.